Hello, I'm FPX Toycat, and today I have some massive Minecraft 1.19 news because a brand new beta/preview just launched today, and if you look at the changelog, you'll see they made a whole bunch of changes. However, there's only really one brand new thing coming in there, and it's not until after 1.19. The rest of this changelog is entirely bug fixes and polish. For instance, now when you break a chest boat, instead of getting a chest and a boat, you just get the boat with chest all as one item. This is a really solid improvement in my opinion, and it's the sort of thing they're doing as far as polish goes because they're not really adding new features. In fact, if we look at the Java edition, it's a big snapshot and beta week, you'll see that there is a whole host of bug fixes with just one brand new, relatively minor feature. The fact that there is only one relatively minor feature in a pretty big update week tells us that they're pretty near the end of the feature adding to this update, and then there is another huge tidbit for the Bedrock edition, which tells us that they are almost certainly getting ready for the pre-releases and the releases of Minecraft 1.19. That's right, the update is finally getting to the final phases before release, but before we can talk about when and how and what's gone on there, let's talk about exactly what's in this update, because I find the boat with chest thing to be neat, but there's also, the first question I had was, does it work for minecarts? And yes it does. This is a really positive improvement to those, in my opinion, but it does come with the downside that it's not as easy to separate these. In fact, you can't separate them even in the crafting table. You're just stuck with the minecart chest as one item, and same with your boat chests, but I think it's a worthwhile trade-off to keep your stuff together. Once you commit, you are very committed to having boats or minecarts with chests, but they also made changes to the Warden in this update. Now the Warden emits darkness every 6 seconds, and also the Skulk sensor, even if you break it after putting out its darkness effect, will still keep on alerting the Warden and giving you that darkness. So they made a lot of changes to all sorts of things to bring the update more in line with Java. If I'm not mistaken, those changes have come to Java in the past few weeks, but it's a very interesting beta that really has only changed one thing that we weren't expecting, and that is updates to Spectator mode. Spectator mode is not coming in the wild update, by the way. If you need proof of that, here is the wild update toggle and here's the spectator mode toggle, but spectator has been substantially changed and brought much closer to its Java equivalent. The biggest change is probably the fact that now it puts you immediately into the flying position. Previously, instead of starting you flying, you would be stuck on the ground if you switch from survival, which would be a whole pain. Now it immediately puts you in this flying formation, which allows you to actually see the world. Look how incredible this looks, by the way. This is honestly, look, there's a stronghold down there. It's beautiful. It's a lovely view through the world, and now also they fixed all of the clipping issues. So for instance, previously you used to be able to trigger tripwire hooks, you used to be able to open chests, you used to be able to drop items. None of those things happen, and also even though you can see yourself in third person, you can't actually see the stuff that you're holding. So it's a big improvement. You can't actually interact with the world anymore. Spectator mode actually works like spectator mode, and although it's still got all form of bugs, it actually, as you can see right here, works as intended in a very beautiful, honestly, if you ask me, way. Although I think you need night vision to really take advantage, because this looks like something interesting. Doesn't this look much better? There's almost too much detail now. So yeah, obviously you can't ride animals anymore, you can't use items, you can't sleep, you can't glide, even when you're doing those things before you enter spectator mode. Double jump no longer breaks spectator mode, which is a weird feature. You can't build, you can't attack. You are truly a spectator, and so spectator mode, I would say it's much closer to a finished product. It still looks weird that you can see yourself rather than, there's some things they need to do. I mean, the fact that I vanished for a second there is also kind of strange. There's some things they clearly need to do to make this properly finished, but they are getting closer to releasing this, but it won't be out until after 1.19. Do you hear that? There is a brand new feature which they've just about finished, but they've confirmed in the last update, and they've confirmed by adding it in a separate toggle here, that it won't be coming in Minecraft 1.19. Very, very interesting, right? In my opinion. Over here on the Java edition, they've gone a step more extreme, where you can see the line of the changelog about changes and like actual, interesting things for the player is literally 4 things, and the rest is all hidden in the bug fixes besides one minor feature. That's right, at this late stage in the update, they decided to add a Java exclusive. There is no signs this coming to Bedrock yet, and especially not 1.19. It is the /place command. You can now place features or structure or whatever you want, so you can place an acacia tree right there. Wow, it spawns one in. This is a really cool feature in my opinion, because it's something I've wanted forever. Like, the locate command is great, but you can only locate so many things. You can locate biomes, you can locate, obviously you can locate the structures, but being able to place the features will allow creative builders much more freedom to do some fun stuff. If I place another acacia tree right next to it, now we've got a very crowded acacia biome. If we place another one right here, etc., etc., you can do much more interesting with commands now, because now you can place not only an acacia tree, for example, but you can place any structure in the game. Instead of saying /place feature, say /place structure, and then ancient city, and now you can place Minecraft Minecraft's largest structure just... Oh, I don't see it, honestly. Now you can place Minecraft's largest structure, and you might... Do you see it? I don't see it. Now you can place another structure, which isn't that one. Let's say a desert pyramid, and boom. Oh. Yeah, none of it works, huh? Oh no, it's just, it goes down to the lowest point in the ground. So there's now a desert temple on the ground. They won't generate in the sky. They're not built for that. So instead, we place a desert temple, and it goes down to the ground. Now that actually is very interesting. Look how natural this thing looks. It really does look like it was generated there, because it's like it is. You can now, if you're playing creative with commands turned on, alter your world in massive ways. Do you want to place a woodland mansion? That used to be, one of the largest structures. Let's do that, right? Mansion, right here. Boom. Isn't that nuts? We can just place a woodland mansion down wherever we want. Can we place 2 down? Of course we can. We place a second one down over here, and then we place a third one down over here, and you can do all sorts of silly things that you really shouldn't be playing around with, but you better believe that I love. It's a pretty fun feature, but it's effectively just giving you, the end user, the ability to do what Minecraft does all the time anyway, but I like that anyway. I think that's a cool Java command. I'd like to see it on Bedrock, even though I know it's probably not coming for a while. But yeah, as we look around this weird combination of multiple woodland mansions, which is the least of the weird things you can do here, by the way, this thing really is very wacky, and I want to play around with it more. But before we talk about that, let's talk about what we know, because we know the Wild update is coming out fairly soon. The only thing they had officially said before recently was that it was coming out in 2022, and that obviously could have meant, well, that's coming out the very end, or it could have meant it's coming out halfway through, and they're finally going to follow through on their, like every 6-month update plan, which obviously, is a very hard thing to do when you're used to producing one big update a year as a studio. And yeah, basically they said that it was in the finalizing stages somewhat recently, but we didn't know exactly what that meant. This update being a pretty big snapshot on beta, but both of them just being bug fixes, is a really big sign that they're nearly finished. But like I said, by itself it's not enough. The thing that should really push you over the edge on believing that we are now in the last few, weeks rather than months before the update is the fact that they, on the Bedrock Edition, they added new achievements. The new achievements are this kind of like last big thing they do for an update, because every single brand new Bedrock Edition update adds new achievements that can be earned via Xbox Live for all platforms. It's a fun thing that they like to do, and yeah, they decided that they would actually add those in there, and this is a huge... You can't place a desert temple here, huh? That's pretty strange, but this is a pretty huge change as far as I'm concerned, because this is kind of signifying the end. The fact that the one brand new feature we did get that wasn't new achievements or just changes to existing ones was just that, tells me, I think, everything we need to know. I think it's clear from looking at the way we're seeing development go, I think it's clear from looking at that and seeing the change logs and the way they're changing, that we're not at the stage where they can just add random features in a given update. We're now at the stage in the update where they're all about polishing what they have and getting it ready for release. A problem that Mojang has historically had is it's really fun to add new features, but when it comes to like polishing and finishing them up, etc., that's when things get significantly harder, and so that's why they're going to be spending the next month or two just bug fixing this update, then pre-releasing it, and then seeing more bug reports and fixing those. Minecraft is a game that inevitably, as a result of the way they code with so many different people working on different features, creates all sorts of bugs. It's many, many years old. It's going to happen. It creates all sorts of bugs that have just kind of stacked up over time. If you'll forgive my wording on that. It creates all sorts of bugs that do just stack up as time goes on, and so it's important for them to fix all of the bugs that have appeared in this particular update, and so that is what they're likely going to do from now to the finish. I don't doubt that we'll see the occasional weird, quirky Java feature. For whatever reason, Java is much more capable of just adding a feature as a last minute, like, oh yeah, we just decided to do that. This brand new place feature is really fun. However, the Bedrock Edition, and let's be honest, for the most part in the Java Edition, there aren't going to be major feature additions now. What you see in the Wild update is what you're going to get. And yeah, this kind of goes back into the talks we've been having about, like, is it enough? Is it what you expected from something called the Wild update? And I think the answer for many people is like, well, it's not. It's not as much as I would have expected based on such a big trailer and so many different concept arts. I feel like they delivered all the features in the trailers and then... Or the one trailer, I should say, and then that's exactly where we've ended up. Is that, on the one hand, that's like disappointing that they didn't exceed, something released in November of last year. On the other hand, you could argue it means they're learning to, or they're trying to promise only what they're sure they can deliver. But you know, is it better to to be at this stage where we got exactly what we saw and nothing else, but probably expected else? Or what do you think, chat? Internet? Do you feel as though we would be in a better position if just like we went back to once a year? You know, how do you feel about it? Because right now, my honest thought is that like 2 updates a year of this size might not be as much actual content as 1 big update a year. Because given that it takes so many weeks to get the update rolling up, and it takes many weeks, you know what? It's not going to be coming out in the next month, by the way. You might think, wow, they're already done the features. We might see it next week. No, it's not coming out for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. There's so much bug fixing to be done, and that always happens at the end of an update, and it always takes a month or 2 or 3. I wonder if, like, it's more of it, you know, if by bug fixing now instead of working immediately on new features for 1.20, we're actually effectively getting less content over the course of a year. That's my concern as an end user looking at it. As a, you know, like, as someone who just cares about new features, it's cool, it's great. There's a lot of stuff to expect. It's going to be a cool update. However, is it going to be a wild update? Is the question, which I don't really have a full answer to, because of course, it's a brand new update, it's fun. It's just I feel as though Mojang did such a good job in the last few updates, you know, 1.13 all the way from 1.16 and, you know, Caves and Cliffs if you take the 2 parts together. They did such a good job with those updates combined that I guess we have higher standards now. So when we get an objectively good Minecraft update, they're updating a whole biome, they're updating all these sorts of things, we look at it and we go, well, you know, it's not as big a themed update as I was expecting. When Mojang says the Nether update, you know they're updating the whole Nether. When they say a village update, they're going to update the entire village mechanics. When they say the wild update, they mean we're adding 1 brand new biome above ground, 1 brand new biome from the last update below ground, and maybe a new mob and a new boat chest. But, you know, I feel as though that's also being pessimistic and only focusing on the headline features. I think there is plenty in this update to sink your teeth into, and ultimately, Minecraft is getting bigger, it is getting more fun. But is it wild? That's a different question. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I am going to be streaming Super Flat Survival tomorrow if you want to keep up to date with that. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm here to share the latest news with you, even when that news is basically we're probably done seeing new features. But yeah, let me know what you think. I hope that you all enjoyed, because I'll see you in the... This is such a fun feature in my opinion. I don't understand why it can't play structures sometimes, but I do understand that it's cool being able to make your own jungle pyramid. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you next time. Bye!